Hey guys, it's Ashley Cunningham here, and I'm really excited to be channeling a few elemental beings that I've recently kind of run into and discovered. I'm going to go into how I met them, but also share a message from them and answer some awesome questions that I gathered from a lot of you on Instagram, on my Facebook group called Channeling with Love, and on my Facebook business page. If you're watching this on YouTube and you are interested in asking questions yourself, please find me on Facebook. You can just search me under Ashley Cunningham Medium. I have a business page as well as my group, Channeling with Love. You can ask to join that as well. It's a really cool high vibe space where a lot of people share spiritual content, and it's just a cool place, little corner of the internet. And you can also find me on Instagram at Ashley Cunningham Medium. I also have a website called channelingwithlove.com where you can book readings with me, or you can also email me questions or recommendations on beings that you would like me to channel. I'm always open to taking recommendations, and I really like it because I get to discover new beings that maybe I haven't heard of before, or maybe just initially didn't resonate with me. And if people are asking for that, I definitely want to try and channel for people who have various interests, and I get to discover new beings. So I have a really good time connecting with new beings, and so yeah, if you have recommendations, send them my way. So we're gonna dive in and really want to tell you a story of how I met. I'm gonna be channeling 2 or maybe 3 of these elemental beings that I've recently met. The first one is an earth dog, which is super cool. I had never even heard of this type of being before. It's an elemental being, and I was just walking down the street actually by my work, and I was going to get food on lunch, and I just felt like I have a dog next to me, and it's a big dog. Sorry, I have a lot of energy coming into my chest. It's this dog here, and it's a male, and he's just really happy that I'm talking about this. And so yeah, I basically was just walking down the street, and I felt like this dog was right next to me, and I had never sensed this type of energy before. It was really interesting because I got initially this impression of just like moss and greenery and like a matted fur. It's not matted, but it's like fur of moss and of like hanging plants basically, and in the shape of this like very large wolf-sized or larger wild dog feeling. And I was just like, okay, this is cool and different. And then I kind of started connecting with it more, and it's just really cute, very curious, and very excited to be sharing his energy with people and to share his message and to connect with individuals. If you're interested in feeling what an earth dog feels like, definitely try and tune in to the energy that's around me right now, because he's hanging out right on my right side right here. Or you can, call him in. He's not saying he has like a human name, but you can just call him Earth Dog. He will come at that, and he is really interested in connecting with people who need to feel more grounded, who maybe are having a hard time feeling stable in their energy. So your thoughts are just all over the place, or you have anxiety, or you have a lot of energy hitting you, and you don't really have a chance to handle it, or you don't really know what to do with it. Definitely call him in. He is really interesting, and he's telling me now that when you feel overwhelmed with energy, he is going to be there to kind of absorb some of that energy for you and transmute it as, you know, an angel or an archangel would for you, or an ascended master could do that for you. He is of a being that would love to help you in helping your energy. And he is just kind of showing me, like, you know how like there's like emotional support dogs, or well, animals. There's a lot of different types of animals that provide service to humans, but he's saying that he is a working dog, so he would like to help individuals who are feeling this sort of kind of anxious energy, and he is showing me that he's kind of similar to like a support dog, a service dog, in that he kind of understands, of course, he's of spirit, he's of the earth itself, he's of Gaia, and so he kind of understands what's going on with you, but he's also there to kind of put pressure on you, help relieve some stress, and just kind of give you some comfort. And he's also showing me like not a weighted blanket, but like weighted blankets would be great for when you're feeling anxious, but kind of like pressure on your leg, like he'll lean in on your leg and you'll feel him and his energy, and he's going to be hanging out. So if you are interested in calling on him, he's saying please do so. Now he's getting serious, and he's saying, I am of Gaia. I am energy that has been created to help protect the earth, to help Gaia in whatever she needs, to celebrate the growth of the plants and the material that's here on Gaia's back. He's showing me now lots of forest scenes, so he resides in a lot of tree areas or wooded areas, but he also he's now showing me like Great Plains. He also runs on the plains. He enjoys a long run, he says. He's not rooted to a single location like some elemental beings are. They primarily focus their work and their energy on supporting a certain area. He is not as grounded or rooted to one location. He does prefer certain areas over another, so he does prefer wooded areas versus like a city or a park. He likes the wildness of the plants that he typically lives amongst. And he's just smiling, like he's got a really big toothy wolfish grin, and it's just really cute but kind of a little unsettling at the same time, because wolves are very wild, and he has that sense of wildness to him. But he's saying, I'm just very excited that we are able to share and converse, and he's showing me that he's not as wild as I feel like he is. He's very he has manners, is what he's saying. He's not as wild. He will behave, which I appreciate. But yeah, basically he's just saying he really wants to help people feel grounded and rooted and feel that connection to the earth that a lot of us, especially living in cities, don't necessarily have all of the time. It's hard for us to cling to that sense of belonging in nature when we are surrounded by buildings and roads and different things that humans have built. So that's his primary focus now that there's more energy coming to the planet. Oh, this is interesting. He's saying that before, when there was kind of it wasn't as fast-paced, the energy coming to Earth. and the support that's been here was not as active or activated as it is now. More and more people are awakening, and before, though, it was much slower, sleepy, like people were just sort of kind of waking up. And he's saying that in that time when the energy was slower, he was more focused on, I guess, the preserving the spirit of the wilderness, of areas in which he resides, and helping the living beings that are there in that space. So the plants, the animals, other Fey elemental beings, he was a support to them. And he's not alone. He has, he's saying, you could call it a pack. He has a pack of other earth dogs that he works with, and they, similar to like wolf behavior, they work together to solve problems and to help the beings that are in the areas in which they roam, which is really cool. So he's more of a representative of beings, earth dog beings, elemental beings, than, and he's saying that he and I resonate with each other. Our energy is closely linked, and I think that's really cute. I love it. I am a big dog animal lover, so I think that's super cool. And he's just kind of snickering at me. But he's saying, in all seriousness, it's important for each of us to connect to beings like this, and he's really excited that he's been able to connect with me and then share out to others a little bit more about himself and his friends and family, other earth dog beings and other elementals, because he works with other elementals as well. And he's saying that this is important to recognize. Like kind does not stick to like kind. Similar to how animals in our reality interact and often support each other. Maybe not all animals, but there is a camaraderie on the other side, especially with the elemental beings, that they're all working together. They're all on the same team. And it's important to remember that because he is so different as an earth dog than other elemental beings that we are going to chat with tonight. So that's pretty awesome and super exciting that he works with other beings, and they're all kind of hanging out together, and they all are, he's saying they're all working to support Gaia, to bring back and he's kind of pointing to, Alyssa Reynolds and I had a fairy introductory course in May. That feels like a long time ago, but it was only in May of this year. And the main message from all of the elemental fairy beings that we channeled was that the magic's coming back. The excitement, the energy, it's all coming back to Earth. The magic of the Earth is coming back, and that we should be excited and connect with it. And he's saying that because there's more energy coming, like just in the way it is, at the pace that it's coming, more elemental beings are able to kind of wake up. He's saying they're always there. They didn't go anywhere, but they're able to now reach out more, connect more with humans and other beings, and to kind of move around more, and more, he's saying participation. So it's more like they were always there, but now they're able to really do more good, do more action, take more action, and it's a really important time for a lot of elemental beings. And he's kind of sitting down now. He was like standing right here, like his head was right here. He's kind of sitting down now, and another being is stepping forward. And this is, there's 3 or 4 that I'm sensing over here. And how I can sense the different energies is, it's kind of like right now they're kind of like all on my right side and kind of in front of me where the camera is. And I'm asking the elemental being that wants to speak next to really step forward and the rest to step back, so I can kind of focus in on that next being. But there are a lot of colors that I'm sensing in my mind's eye, and I'm sensing a few beings that I've already connected with before, so I kind of have a connection and I kind of understand and feel what their energy is like. And the next being that's stepping forward is, I call him the Mountain Man. He gave me his name as Edenur, and this is a being who I met in Iceland, and I talked in my Traveling with Spirit Iceland vacation video about how I was able to meet with this being, and it was just a really beautiful experience. But I'll give a quick story on that. Basically, I was walking on a beach. It's a black sand beach in southern Iceland, and I was just walking and looking at seashells and picking up rocks like I always do. I'm a really bad beachcomber. And there's a mountain range like literally right next to the beach. It's pretty crazy how the geography is there. But at one end of the beach, there's this really tall mountain, and I just was really drawn to that energy of the mountain. And then I sensed like that energy from the mountain like right next to me. And he presented himself, and he's still presenting himself as more of a humanoid figure. And honestly, kind of like not Victorian, older than Victorian, like Middle Ages, way older than Victorian, Middle Age, like ruffles and Renaissance period. I'm a history major. My bachelor's was in history, and I'm killing myself right now in my head. I could probably, if I sat and placed it, I would be able to give you like a year range of the dress that he's choosing to represent, but it's escaping me right now. But he has like poofy sleeves and ruffles and a jaunty hat, and he's just grinning right now at me. He's kind of making fun of me because I'm really focused in on how he's dressed right now. But I think it's imperative to give you all of the information that I'm getting, because this really feels like his essence. He's just very formal and gentlemanlike, but also there is kind of a wildness in his energy that I'm picking up. And maybe it's because the earth dog is just sitting right here, but it's kind of a blend, like they're playing off each other's energy. So it feels very wild, but also with the Mountain Man, super solid rock, like solid rock. Like he is the mountain. He is the rock to its core. And he's saying, yes, that is correct. I'm the energy that lives within this mountain in Iceland. And it has been a privilege to connect with this dear one. And I am honored to connect with those of you who are watching this video who are interested in connecting with me as well. As this wonderful earth dog has said already, there is much energy coming to the planet, as most of you are aware of. If not, there is energy coming to support Gaia from many beings, from source energy, from many other civilizations, and from all of their efforts to support Gaia and her healing and transformation. and the raising of frequency for herself as well as everyone who lives here on her back. I am a part of Gaia in that I am an energy that is a steward of the area in which I live. I support Gaia in her work, and I help to transmute the energy that needs to be transmuted in my direct location. I work with many other mountain men and women, if you so choose to think of them in that way. We are a fierce energy that they're just now showing me like all of these beautiful gigantic mountain ranges, and all over the world they're of a same kind of being. They are the mountain, and he's just saying that these spaces, these mountains across the world, across the globe, across Gaia, are very sacred. And each being who lives or who embodies and protects that area is honoring that sacredness that is of Gaia. Whew. And I'm just getting like a lot of love from him and more beings that are like him, who are of the mountain and the area in which they protect and honor. Now he's showing me various different, he's saying guises, so various different forms in which he has taken. Some of you have been curious about how do you know if an elemental or a fairy or a being is around you, or living within the backyards or in the area around you. And he's saying, well, you can always ask to see us. Go out into nature and sit still with a quiet mind. You can close your eyes if you so choose. But we are all around. Anywhere there's nature, there is going to be fairies, there's going to be elemental beings helping to grow, helping the energy of the plants and the animals, and helping the land around the entire world. There are more of us than you realize, he's saying. You can ask to see us. We take various forms. Sometimes you see light orbs or streaks of light or even a rustling in the leaves. He's showing me like a taller column of light. Sometimes it's just a column of light. Sometimes it's just, he's saying flashes of light as well, or wisps. A lot of people, and there's actually a lot of myths around the world about little lights and wisps and lights in the forest that kind of lead you on a path. And he's saying we are all of those things. We've taken all of those forms. It also, if they want to reach you, they will try and take a form that will resonate with you and your energy, and they will try and communicate with you in various ways. And he's saying the first step to communication with them is to call them in, ask to communicate with them. You can say, can I speak with the fairies in my backyard? Or I would like to speak with the fairies in my backyard. Just trust and know you have fairies in your backyard. You don't have to question if they're there or not. And just know that they're around, and you can always call in more beings, more fairies, more elemental beings to support you and your landscape and your plants. And he's saying that there are many beings I myself have a specific area, but there are many beings who will wander and will support any human who calls on them to come in and help with the nature around them. So that's pretty interesting, super cool. But a lot of the elemental beings are also location bound, not bound, but location specific. So they prefer to live in a certain area. And he's highlighting for me, there's a group of fairies that I really connected with in Iceland, as well as in Canada, and here in Oregon, where I live. There's various like groups of them that I really like to connect with. But I can talk to them at any time, that doesn't matter, but they like to hang out in certain areas, and in their being, hang out in that space. So, now he's saying that while you may find it surprising that there are mountain beings or spirits of the mountain, there are spirits in everything, all the natural formations, plants, animals, humans. Of course, we have our spirit soul being. He's saying we all have spirit. We are of spirit. We are all of spirit. Elemental particularly focuses and works with the rocks, the trees, the wind. There's some air elementals out there that I have a question on, so we're going to talk with them later. But all of the natural elements of Earth have elemental spiritual beings there helping out, as also, of course, water. So it's not limited to just like fairies and various different types of fae beings. There's like mountain spirits, there's rock spirits, there's water spirits, there's air spirits, there's of course the earth spirits like the earth dog. So he's just kind of showing you there's in everything there is spirit, and when you go out into nature, if you just rest there, quiet your mind and ask the spirit of the space to come forward and speak with you, you're going to be very surprised. He's kind of making me feel like you may be overwhelmed with so much energy and so many spirits there, but know that they will do their best to not overwhelm you, but they will be very excited to speak with you, as they are often with this one. When I go out into nature, I like to just kind of open myself up to the space that's around me and see who's there. Of course, it's always high vibrational focused, and I'm focused primarily when I'm out and about in nature, focusing on trees or certain formations or certain elements in my environment. So I really am able to meet those beings. But also sometimes we're just walking through. I was in Canada with Kristin Davies and Alyssa Reynolds, and it turned out that we were just walking through on a little path, visiting this place. It's called Cathedral Grove, and we were just looking at some beautiful trees, and all of a sudden this being just comes up from behind us, very gently, was like trying not to scare us, but I had to pause for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this being? And it was a tree spirit, and he's actually here as well. Very tall, and in my mind's eye, when I see him, it's more like a wisp of green energy. He represents as green, kind of like the light that filters through tree leaves in the summertime. Very light green, wispy. And he's saying, greetings to you all. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. I am here to represent the trees. I am a tree spirit. I am not of a tree. I help trees and support trees in the location in which this dear one had mentioned, the Cathedral Grove. There are many old trees that live there, but there are young trees as well. And he's sharing that it is his joy to help young life blossom and grow strong. He's just saying that there are so many of you who are doing really excellent work in limiting the amount of plastics that you consume or you purchase or you use, recycling, purchasing products that are healthier for Gaia, but also satisfying your needs. The more that this takes place, your habits of consumption, your ability to give back to the earth, like replanting trees or donating to organizations that plant trees or clean up the ocean or forests or anywhere really. He's saying, please continue to do this. It is important that each of you take action, and it doesn't have to be big, it can just be small. One of these actions is he's showing me just being out in nature and connecting and creating that connection between yourself and Gaia and the spirits around you, because that is who your actions will impact. And once you develop that really strong connection, you can then, he's saying, tangibly understand and realize that every time you throw a water bottle away, or every time you buy, he's showing me a lot of plastic products, he's saying straws, a lot of plastic bags. There's just a various amount. If you just throw them away and you don't use them in a way that's meaningful, those are the beings, those are the relationships that you're impacting. So making it really tangible helps motivate you to make changes within your life. And honestly, I definitely need to do that and kind of think of it in that way. And I'm just thanking him. Thank you so much for phrasing it in that way, because I haven't really thought of it like that. Like, I'm in a relationship with this spirit being, the Gaia. I'm in a relationship with her because I live on her. I'm kind of a parasite to her, but she loves me anyway. And I need to treat her well because she is Mother Earth, and this is where we live. And yeah, I don't know why that's coming across for me as novel. I'm sure a lot of other people have said this before, and the tree spirit's saying, yes, it has been shared many times in this way, but the more that it can be shared in this way, the more that can be communicated about your personal relationship with the environment around you, the better. He's saying it is utmost importance that each of us recognize that we are in a relationship with what's living amongst us, around us. You would not seek to harm your child, to poison yourself, your parents, your partners. You would do everything you can in your power to give them the best life possible. And so you can do that as well for Gaia and the nature spirits and the beings that live near you, such as trees. And he's just kind of smiling. His lovely trees. He's like, he's showing me he's kind of like a shepherd, and he's just kind of really monitoring the trees in which he focuses in on. And he is seeing the bigger picture at the same time. If there's no, he's saying he initially put in my head, if there's no market for sheep, then you wouldn't keep sheep, but it's more deeper than that, I guess. I'm asking him to rephrase it because I'm not getting exactly what he's saying. But he's saying basically, he is the shepherd of trees, and these trees are a precious commodity. They're not just everywhere, all over the place, and it's not something that can be easily grown within, say, a year. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time and effort to grow a tree, a healthy tree, and protect the animals and the insects and the other plants that rely on trees, and trees rely on for their own needs. And they're precious, so we must take care of them in any way that we can, as we would our child. Okay, now he's wrapping it back. As we would our child or our family members or our own selves. He's just laughing at me. And he's thanking all of you again for taking the time to hear him. These are the three beings that are going to be speaking tonight. There are several other elemental beings that are here that may chime in on questions. But let me get to those questions. So Lisa is asking, how can we connect with them, being elemental beings? Do we have our own elemental guides, or are they more earthbound? Are they the same as Fae or different? Thank you. So the Earth Dog's chiming in on this one, and he's saying, all you have to do is ask, Lisa. We will be there. And all you have to do as well, because he's showing that, like, I didn't ask for him to show up and just, like, be right by me, but connecting with nature and being open and wanting to connect with nature spirits will allow them to kind of make an introduction for themselves. So just taking a moment to quiet your mind and to just kind of step back and allow the introductions to take place. They will be right there, and they will be very excited to communicate with you. And your other question, which is really interesting, do we have our own elemental guides, or are they more earthbound? The mountain man is stepping forward, and he's saying that it's more, we are more earthbound. We are focused on the natural elements primarily. There are some humans who have elemental connections, who have a deeper relationship with elemental spirits, that they can perform like a spirit guide type of role for that human. But it is not as common as more being earthbound, which is interesting. And are they the same as Fae or different? Thank you. And he's showing me, the mountain man is showing me they're a little different in that they're like of the earth. Like they're like, he specifically, he's like the mountain. He is the mountain. And so Fae beings, they are like fairies, dwarves, elves, gnomes. They're of themselves, but they are more like stewards. Like they help and support the beings, these mountain men, the spirits of the nature itself, and of course of Gaia in general. So they're a little different than just fairies, or not just, but you know what I mean, of fairies or dwarves or other beings like that. So thank you, Lisa, for your great questions. Sandra, I would like to know why I am reluctant to share messages. Now that we have met so many beings, how can we determine which is the best for us to align with? I am sometimes overwhelmed, maybe just experience. Okay. The tree spirit, Sandra, is stepping forward for you on this one, and he's saying, just be in a space of allowing. You do not have to limit your connection with spirit beings, spirit in general, to just one type of being or a group of beings. You may naturally align yourself with certain ascended masters or certain beings that make you feel really good to connect with. And naturally, you may just find that through your connections, through your practice and your channeling, you just kind of veer off and you just are naturally drawn and resonate with certain beings. And he's saying, take for example, this dear one. She's speaking with 3 very different elemental beings in this moment. Yet, she also connects with ET, star beings, as well as angels, ascended masters. There is really no limit. Just a limit on maybe the time that you have to practice. And yeah, he's just saying, just enjoy it. Allow yourself to discover on your own. Yeah, he's just saying, he's focusing really in on don't limit yourself. You know, you can connect with any kind of being that you want. They're all on the same team. And he's highlighting that. They're all for the highest good for you, for one, and for everyone here on earth. And they're all of spirit and all of source love and light energy, as are we. So there's no need to really focus or like be really specific, but if you feel the need to do so, just kind of do some practice and kind of know what feels the best for you, who you'd like to channel the most, who is maybe the easiest for you, who's the hardest for you to communicate with. Looking through all of the channelings that I've done, just from my personal experience, Kuan Yin made me feel really sleepy, and my video was very slow paced because of just the amount of energy that I was feeling. It was very difficult for me to channel her in a flowing way that I like to channel. So it was interesting, and I haven't really worked on channeling with her more just because of that experience. I think now that I'm talking about it, I think I'm going to really make an effort to channel her more in my personal time for myself and maybe for friends and family if they're interested, but really practicing to get to know her and to build that relationship. And it's kind of like, having friends and having family members. You have relationships with them. Sometimes you get along with them. Maybe sometimes you don't resonate with a certain being, but maybe another being is interesting to you in that moment. So you go for that and you have that conversation with them and you develop a friendship. And basically it's for me anyway, in my sense of it, it's really developing a friendship and developing a relationship. Archangel Michael, he's with me 24/7. I channel with him a lot, and it's just very easy flowing, and it's just kind of immediate now at this point. So it's also a matter of experience, I think, and just how you're comfortable communicating with certain beings. So definitely, I always go to journaling. Journal, write down as much as you can, just impressions, thoughts, feelings throughout the day. Ask those questions of who do I feel most comfortable with when I want to channel? Who am I most interested in connecting with? Who seems the most exciting to me right now? Asking those questions kind of gives you a guide as to what beings you're interested in. As the more you practice, the more beings you're going to be in contact with, and I think the less overwhelmed you're going to feel, because there's no pressure. You don't have to, connect with certain beings at certain times all the time. Your angel team is always around you, but outside of that, you have kind of that free will choice to call in who you want to at any given time. So I hope that helps, Sandra, and I hope that helps other people who may be feeling the same way. Definitely when I started channeling, I was, not really sure like where to even begin, because there's so many beings, so many different people, different historical figures, angels, archangels, ET beings, all of the ascended masters, a ton who I don't even know of right now. And I've been channeling for a little while. So it's just exciting. And just start slow, just practice and journal, document, refine, and just go with it, because it's going to be really fun for you to discover all of that about yourself. Wendy is asking, please explain why some of the volunteer starseeds battle hypersensitivity and chronic illness, and is there anything that we can do to truly heal ourselves, or is this just part of our mission? The earth dog here is just kind of chuckling at me right now because they are of the earth, and so they can't necessarily speak to a lot of the starseed experience. So I'm asking my my Mina Mama, my Orion mother, star guide. She was my mother in a previous life experience, and I call her Mina Mama. And I'm asking her to speak on this, and the earth dog is actually chiming in on a lot of it too. But Mina is saying that basically part of that hypersensitivity is just the differences between worlds that maybe you've been in, like previous to this lifetime, or the energy in which you typically reside. So there are beings such as the Andromedans or the Orions or the Pleiadians even. Pleiadians actually have less of a really difficult time because they're more similar to humans than other beings. Say Lyrans, the cat beings, so there's very big differences between those experiences. They're all very high vibrational, and then they come here as starseeds, and which we are all starseeds. And so once you come here, and if you haven't been here a ton of lifetimes, you may have a more difficult time battling hypersensitivity, kind of getting into the groove or flow of how life works here on Earth. And that's okay. That's okay to be kind of have that hypersensitivity. And the earth dog is now chiming in. One thing that you can do to kind of battle that really heightened super sensitivity is to get out into nature and to try and relax and detox yourself, because the earth experience, while we socially have a lot of things going on, the being out in nature, being out on Earth in her energy really helps calm our physical body, our emotional body, our energetic body, all of the layers of us, and that really can help address some of that sensitivity. And as much as you can, get outside, even if it's just in your backyard or in the park down the street. Getting outside and being as close to nature as possible can really help even that out and kind of help take some of that anxiety and transmute some of that energy that you may be having from being in maybe a city or a more bustling, kind of more human 3D experience. And chronic illness really comes out of not being balanced in your energy a lot of the time. And so if you can, the earth dog is not harping, but kind of really focusing in on get outside, lean against a tree, touch the earth, touch a rock, hold crystals, connect with the rivers, the waterways, the plants that are around you. As both Mina and the Earth Dog are putting energy into me on my heart chakra, and they're making me feel like, you know, a lot of the experiences that starseeds are having, part of it is that they've signed up for it. It's part of that experience of getting used to this world, and knowing what that experience is like and growing through it. But part of it too is also just the energy and the changes and the things that are taking place on this planet, are kind of sometimes overwhelming for people who are very highly sensitive. And so it's kind of a combination as to your final question, or the bulk of your question, which is this just part of your mission, or is it something that you can really deal with or truly heal from? And they're saying it's a blend of both. So I hope that helps you, Wendy, and any of our, you know, other starseed friends out there. I am definitely sympathetic and empathetic with people who have a really hard time with the hypersensitivity and the energetic boundaries, or not having energetic boundaries. It's really difficult, and it's interesting to see how the starseed experience really plays into that. Before I started channeling, I didn't really understand how those experiences could really impact my current lifetime, but it's definitely an element that we can't just rule out, because it's so different in other places, that just the juxtaposition of this place versus maybe an experience that you just had in a previous life, like, it's jarring almost, and it takes some getting used to. I'll stop it there. I can talk a lot about that one. Ursula is asking if I may have a personal message. I would deeply appreciate it. I am especially interested in a message pointing towards my next steps, the path I should walk. I would like to understand what exactly I came to do, and how should I step forward at this phase of my journey. Ursula, the Earth Dog is stepping forward on this one. And he is saying, much of your next steps are of your free will choosing. You can focus your path of being a light worker, as you are one, and you are aware, in various directions. It's all a matter of what will bring you the most joy, excitement, and happiness in the work that you will be doing, that you have already begun doing. You have already begun by sharing your gifts with others, by shining your light, by learning some skills that will be essential for you in your path moving forward. So going within is really the next step for you, to really look at what's going to bring you joy and what's going to make you happy and feel really good within your path. Because sometimes, you know, being a light worker is hard, and it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of elements to it. You can go in a lot of different directions, but ultimately you need to follow in your internal guidance and what's going to be best for you, and how is that going to help you shine your light and share it with more people. And the Earth Dog is saying, he's showing you like going outside and just kind of like hanging out, sitting on the ground, leaning against trees, gardening, being outside a lot. He's saying this is important for you to continue and to incorporate within your life as much as possible, weather allowed. He's saying that it can get very cold, so it's not necessarily always feasible in the way that you wish, but when you have opportunity, make sure that you're grounding, especially if you're very open. And he's showing me that you are very open, Ursula, so make sure you're getting your grounding in for sure. And he's now kind of sitting back on that. So I hope that helps you. And I know it wasn't a like, oh, you should go into healing, you know, a more concrete answer, but really you can do whatever you want to do, Ursula. It's going to be great. So love and light to you, and good luck on that. Definitely keep us posted on what you're doing next. Gladys is asking, she would love to know if she has fairies in her backyard, and how can she connect with them, and do they have a message for me? The tree spirit is stepping forward, and he's saying, yes, dear one, you have many fae beings, not only fairies, living in your environment, very close environment, so in your backyard area, in your front yard space, or the front of your house. It may not be extensive, but it's in the front, all around you. He's saying that they already communicate with you. That's why you were asking this question. That's why you're curious. They've been piquing your curiosity and kind of pointing you in the direction of them being around. And all you have to do is talk to them. Talk to them, know that they're there, trust that they're there. And they're just, the fairies are here now, and they're just laughing, and they're just, it's so cute. They're kind of like playing peekaboo, like, hey, we're here, you can see us, you know that we're here, you're not going crazy, you know it. So they're just saying hi, and that they are really happy that you're asking this of them, asking about them. And yeah, so I hope that resonates with you. That's super cool. Madeline has a cool question. What are the air elementals like, and what are they like, and how can we connect with them? What can they assist us with? Thank you so much. Ooh, Madeline, the only air elemental beings that I've really met are wind dragons. And I have the westward wind dragon that's flown right in here. He's right by my face, right here. And he is really interesting. He's just got a lot of gusto energy. He's very passionate and very excited that you asked about air elemental beings. And he's now saying that there are dragons, there are bird-like elemental beings, more ethereal, energetic beings as well, that work in tandem with many other elemental beings, such as the mountain people. And if you wish to connect with them, like so many other beings have said before and will continue to say, all you have to do is ask. They can hear you. They know that you are curious, and they are excited to connect with you. And now I'm asking, what do you guys assist us with? What do you do? And the westward wind dragon, he's a big white dragon, and he's more kind of like the snake, the Chinese style dragons. And he's saying that there are many tasks to be done. There are winds to push. There are clouds to move. There is energy to shift, energy to transmute. They assist and help protect Gaia. And they also help other beings, such as humans or other like animals. Oh, that's interesting. They help a lot of birds and a lot of animals in any way that they can. But ultimately, they are like other elemental beings who are there to really support Gaia and help her in any way that they can. And yeah, they're saying there's much work to be done. There will always be work to be done. because Gaia is not just the earth and the water and the fire within her, the lava, you know, the magma that's at the core of her, but also the air and the elements around the earth. And that is their realm. And he's just kind of blowing around, just kind of hanging out, very wavy like. I always love connecting with him because he's, to me, just feels like power, like just floating around, like he's very powerful being. And yeah, so Madeline, I hope that resonates with you. Thank you all so much for some really great questions. Thank you for listening to me chat about how I met all of these amazing beings. And thank you to the Earth Dog and Edenor, the Mountain Man, and the Tree Spirit for joining me, and as well as the Westward Wind Dragon and my Mina Mama. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you all for your time, and I'm sending you all a lot of love and light. And I hope the rest of your day, your morning, your afternoon, wherever you're at, I hope the rest of it is awesome, and have a good one. Bye.